Hey everybody, this is Derek Larger and you are on Derek Larger Sports Talk, and today I'm going to be talking about news around the NFL. It is August 6th. The NFL preseason is about to kick off in less than 48 hours with the Hall of Fame game between the Green Bay Packers and my Indianapolis Colts. So today I felt that it would be necessary to talk about the NFL. And the next day, tomorrow, or probably in another few days or so, I will be talking about college football. But today I'm going to talk about the NFL. And there's three things that I want to cover. The first thing is, all three things are going to be something that is important going into the preseason, early predictions, and stuff like that. First thing is the Tom Brady case. Now, I don't like talking about it. I don't like really discussing it a lot. But I feel like it's good to just get that out of the way and just let it go and just explain my opinion on it. Second one, I'll dissect the Colts team, dissect the Colts schedule, go game by game, let you guys know what games I think they'll win and why, and what I think is going to happen to them by the end of the season. And then last thing I will talk about is who I think is going to win the Super Bowl, early prediction, and who I think is going to win each division going into the playoffs. So, first order of business, Tom Brady. There's no denying that this has been a long and a pretty much disgusting case for a lot of people. It's been long and not a lot of people like to keep talking about it. I don't like talking about it just because I feel like I don't really have an opinion on whether he did it or not. I just feel like this whole case should have never gone this far. Because I believe he should have just let it go a long time ago, taken the 4-game suspension, and just moved on. But instead, it has progressed through all this time. And it's funny how you see the players' mentality of it change. Because when this first happened, a lot of players believed that, he never did anything wrong and they support Brady through the whole thing. But the problem with that is, as this progressed and Tom Brady kept spending the union's money, now, granted, the players' union has money from the players that they get in order to be able to do things like this. Tom Brady was taking money from the players' union in order to help pay for these cases. And unfortunately, that caused a lot of, turmoil between him and the players and the organization. But I'm finally happy that Tom Brady finally said enough's enough. I'm not going to fight this anymore. I'm just going to take my 4 games, root my teammates on, and just come back when my 4 games is up. And personally, I think that's the best thing for him. Honestly, I don't think his legacy really matters much by that. I mean, he's still going to be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And I think that, despite losing Brady, that the Patriots will probably win most of those games anyway. I believe they'll go 3-1, at the least 2-2. So it's not like it's really going to hurt them much once it comes back. But Tom Brady, I'm glad that you finally stepped up and you finally just said, enough's enough. I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to let it go. No need to bring it to the Supreme Court for any reason. Just move on, man. Just move on. So, next order of business is to talk about the Colts. I'm going to tell you guys about their schedule, and then I'm going to dissect the team a little bit, tell you what I think the best weaknesses and strengths are of this team. So, I have the schedule up right here. First game against the Lions at home. I believe that the Colts will win that game, and I believe that only because there's so much uncertainty with the Lions, and it's at home, for the first game. I truly believe the Colts will just be able to pull it out. And then the Colts facing the Broncos, week number 2. I believe that the Colts will lose this one simply because they're on the road against Denver and that very good defense that they have. It's still too early in the season for me to truly be confident in the fact that the Colts can win it. If it was later in the season, I might say, yeah, the Colts have a pretty good shot at it, especially with Denver's defense, or offense, I should say, being even shakier than maybe what it was last year, honestly. I don't know where Denver's offense stands. I mean, I know that their defense is still going to be pretty solid. So I just think the Colts will not be able to handle that firepower early. Week 3, at home against the Chargers. I believe that the Colts will win this one. I believe that they will hold Phillip Rivers to as much as he can bear. And I believe that the Colts will be able to hold back Joey Bosa and the Chargers defense from doing much on them. And especially with the Colts stealing Patrick Robinson from the Chargers, who had a really good season last year. And I believe that was a great move by the Colts. I believe that they'll pull this one out, which puts them at 2-1. Next week is Colts against the Jaguars. And I firmly believe the Colts will win this game just simply because of, I think that it'll be early in the season yet again, but I think the Colts will just have a little bit more firepower on heading in on their side, because normally the Colts win the first game of the series. More statistically, over the last few years, they've won the first game more often than they won the second game, especially last season. So, and I believe they'll be more fresh early on, and I think that's what will help them win that. Week 5 against the Bears. I believe the Colts will win that one because they're at home. The Bears haven't always been the greatest of teams to start out the season, so I believe that they will win this one, putting them at 4-1 to start the season out. Week 6 against the Texans. They're going to be away, and I believe that they'll lose that first game. I believe that they will lose the first game against the Texans just because we usually struggle the first game, and I believe that it's going to take more planning to help the Colts with their second game against the Texans. The Colts against the Titans away. I believe that the Colts will win that game against Tennessee. They had some troubles with them last year. I don't know exactly why, but I feel like Andrew Luck and the team was just banged up at that moment. But I believe that they will find a way to make things happen. So that puts them at 5-2 on the year. So, yep. And then home against the Chiefs. I don't believe they win this game. I believe it'd be a battle, but I believe that the Kansas City Chiefs will find a way to just outpower us, especially at the line. I believe that they will win this game by a little bit, but just enough. And so that puts them at 5-3 on the season. And then week 9 against the Packers at Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, being the bad man that he is, I believe that he'll pull that one out and he'll just dissect the defense for a little bit, just enough to get them to win. I could be wrong, but again, these are just my predictions. This is what I think will happen. I will have to just make better suggestions once the year goes along. So that puts them at 5-4. Week 10, home against the Titans. I believe they'll win that one because we're home. I believe that we'll be able to dominate it better. And I think we'll dominate the pace of the game a little bit better. So that puts us 6-4. Week 11, you got against the Steelers at home. I will be attending that game, and I will definitely be hoping for a win. My gut tells me that they won't win this game, but my heart wants to say, yes, they can win. You know, they've been on the road a lot against Pittsburgh. You know, it's going there. The Colts never seem to have a good chance at it. They just allow too many points. I believe they have a chance to win it, but my gut tells me that this is just going to be too much power on the offensive side from Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Ben Roethlisberger. So 6-5 on the year. And then going to the Jets. Originally, I had the Colts losing this game, but now I've kind of changed my mind about it. I don't believe that the Jets have a lot of good chemistry around them, especially in the quarterback situation. I believe that Vontae Davis will be able to shut down Brandon Marshall a little bit. And my biggest fear is Eric Decker in that game. Because when Brandon Marshall's not on, Eric Decker is. And then having, I don't think the Jets' defense will be as dominant as it was in years past. So that puts them at 7-5 on the season. Week 13, I have the Colts beating the Texans at home, because they usually do beat them at home. Then we have the Colts facing the Vikings. And I don't know about this one. This one's kind of tricky for me because I feel like this is a game that a lot of people are just, this is going to be that one game where no one's going to expect anything to come out of it. I mean, I think Adrian Peterson's going to have a good game. I feel like Teddy Bridgewater will have his. And I think the Colts will have theirs. I honestly don't know who's going to win it, but I think that I have to give the edge to the Indianapolis Colts in this one, just because I think that they'll end up getting that accomplished there. And then we're at 9-5 there. Colts at the Raiders. I have to give this one to I'm honestly going to go against the Colts on this one. I'm going to give this one to the Oakland Raiders, just because I think Oakland's going to be that surprise team this year, and I think they're just going to pull it out one time against the Colts. And then being home against the Jaguars, I think they're going to win that one at home. I think they're going to have what they want with them. So there we go, 10-6 to end the season on that note. Now, I think that I do not believe the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl. I think they still got a lot more to fix up before they get there. But I do believe they're going to win the AFC South and beat over the Texans or the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then find a way to win and get along into the playoffs yet again. But we still have a lot more work to do before we even talk about a Super Bowl. So what I'm also now going to talk about is who I think is going to win each division and make it to the Super Bowl. At this very moment, I was going to say the Arizona Cardinals because, they're on fire as of recently. But I don't think that the team they had, they were a great team, but when it came down and into the trenches, they just didn't have it. And I think that I'm still going to go with Carolina as the team to win the Super Bowl, because I believe that with Cam Newton still being there and putting in a lot of work this offseason, getting his weapons back, in addition to some of the weapons he did have, a Greg Olsen, Ted Ginn Jr., and Jonathan Stewart, and with a defense that is still a little bit intact, especially in the linebacker department, despite losing Josh Norman and one or two of their defensive linemen, I firmly believe that Carolina's defense will still be a top 10 defense and will still be able to perform at a great level, and I think it gives them the best chance to win the Super Bowl at this very moment. So now, on to the AFC East teams. You got the Jets, the Bills, the Patriots, and the Dolphins. I believe New England's going to win this division because of the uncertainty in this division as of right now, and with Tom Brady. Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and all these other guys, I just think it's just too easy for the Patriots to win in this division right now with the roster that they have. So, I think that I will put New England at the top, with the Bills coming in behind them, and then the Jets, and then the Dolphins. All right, and then we move on to the AFC North teams. You got the Bengals, the Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Cleveland Browns. Now, this is what I have to say about the Cleveland Browns as of right now, and the last few years, and for the longest time. They are shoot. I don't even want to say it. I don't know why, but I don't like them. They just stink at this very moment. That's why I have this. I think you get the idea. But anyway, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this division because of the offensive firepower they continue to show. And then I got Bengals coming in close behind them, with the Baltimore Ravens struggling still again this year, in Cleveland just not being able to make things happen. AFC South, I already told you guys how I feel about that. The Indianapolis Colts, Texans, Jacksonville, and then the Titans. And then you got the AFC West. Denver, Kansas City, San Diego, Oakland. As surprising as this may sound to some people, I'm going to give Oakland the division this year because I believe what they've done with their offense, they have improved on many levels. And then, addition to what they've done on defense, adding a bunch of young, talented defensive players, I believe that they're going to burn out Denver just by a game or so because their offense is just a little bit more fundamentally sound than Denver's. So I got Oakland, Denver, Kansas City, and then the San Diego Chargers. Now we move on to the NFC. You got Dallas, Washington, Philadelphia, and New York Giants. I'm not a big Cowboys fan. I hate their fans, honestly. But you got to respect it. They are going to probably do a lot better this year if they stay healthy. If they stay healthy, there's no question that I believe Dallas will win the division. If they don't stay healthy, then I believe Washington is going to win the division. So I do believe Dallas is going to win it, and then Washington is going to come in close behind with the New York Giants over Philadelphia Eagles this year. I believe that's what's going to happen. The NFC North, you got Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, Chicago. I think Green Bay, when they get healthy this year, they're going to make things happen again, just like they always do. So I have Green Bay winning this, with Minnesota following close behind in a wild card spot probably, and then with Detroit over Chicago. NFC South, you got Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and New Orleans Saints. I already told you guys I feel like North Carolina is going to win the Super Bowl at this very moment, so I have them first in this division. And then I have the New Orleans Saints in second place just because Drew Brees is going to be as amazing as he is every year. And then I'm gonna go out on a whim on this one and say that Tampa Bay is going to beat the Atlanta Falcons for the spot in the division in third place. Just because I believe Jameis Winston and Doug Martin are going to find a way to make that offense good. And then you got the Arizona Cardinals in the West, San Francisco 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, and Los Angeles Rams. I got the Cardinals winning it because of the firepower that they show day in and day out. Seattle is going to be close behind, going to be a game or two back with I actually think the Rams will have a better record this year than the 49ers. So that is my predictions for the NFL season at this very moment. I will continue to update that as the season goes along. And tomorrow I'm going to be talking about college football, so that way you guys can get an understanding of some things going on in there. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, peace.